Welcome to this week's edition of HGA Tuesday Tips. I am Julie.
I'm Wendy.
I'm Shonda.
And today we are meeting with Amber Wykstra with Ovation Homes. We're actually in the Harvest Fields subdivision at the model home, which is absolutely stunning. You need to check it out.
Okay, so how would Ovation handle any post-construction repairs or issues that might come up?
You know, that's a really great question. We do have a warranty department. We offer a 1-year warranty on all of our products, and then there's some extended warranties that you can take advantage of. But we usually will just have you go through the warranty department. What does get tricky sometimes is that when you do move into a new home, as much as you'd love to think that everything is 100% warranted, sometimes crazy things can happen. You know, a wind could come up and blow something into the house that bumps the stucco. You know, concrete, unfortunately, can and will crack.
Right? We are in Utah.
Yeah, we are in Utah. Yeah, there's certain things that we will do our very best to come out and help diagnose, to understand, is it a problem that resulted because of poor workmanship or something within the build, or is it something that really is a homeowner maintenance type of a thing, you know? And honestly, it's new construction. And as much as you would love to say, oh, you've been doing it for 30 years, there's never gonna be a problem, it's new construction. And there's always some little funny thing, you know, that can happen. We had a situation one time where this sweet lady was hearing a knock in her house, and we could not, we had gone out and visited her home trying to hear it, and it would only happen at certain times, and we couldn't figure out if it was in the light, like we could not figure it out. We had subcontractors go out, and finally what we just found out is it was an expanding and contracting of her a pipe that her laundry, because she had an upstairs laundry, and when it would expand it would hit a wall and it would knock. And so it wasn't anything structural.
It was a bird in the attic.
Yeah, I felt so bad for her because she really thought, oh, you think I'm crazy. I'm like, no, I don't think you're crazy.
You built on top of the cemetery.
Yeah, we don't ever think people are crazy. It's just sometimes it's not immediately diagnosable, you know, and you have to figure out why it happened. And so we were able to go in and remedy that. Unfortunately, it wasn't as quickly as she hoped it could be. But at the same time, it was very unique and something that took a lot of people to try and diagnose and figure out. So it happens, but we try to be just the very best people that we can be, and stay approachable and have conversations, because everything can get resolved when we can come to the table and talk. Yeah,
that's great.
So let me ask you this: as a new home buyer, I've never bought a new home before. If I were to ask you, am I allowed to visit the construction while the home is being built?
Oh, that's a great question. My as a salesperson, I'd say, sure, come on over. But as a home builder, what I would tell you is, for 2 reasons, I would be cautious in the fact that there's insurance liability issues, and probably that's the biggest one, is the sure. I was going to say but really no, it's insurance and liabilities issue. If you want to go see your home, even after you put it under contract, you really truly need to communicate with the builder that, hey, we're going over, and oh, hey, we need access, because for that insurance, that contractor's taking on a huge responsibility to build that home. And if anybody gets hurt, even little neighbor kids, it can be a problem. So I would even say, be careful of letting your neighbor kids go over, you know, on jobs. But absolutely, from wanting to be transparent and open, come on over, but let's just have it scheduled. We've had it a lot where you get so excited and you want to bring the kids through, you want to bring the parents through, you want to bring the whole extended family because they're here for the party weekend, you know? Great, just schedule it and we'll make sure it can happen.
Great, thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about HOAs.
Okay.
So there's some people are totally afraid of the HOAs because of the community rules and stuff like that, and the fees. What are your thoughts on HOAs? What kind of rules are you?
Yeah, so for us, what happens a lot, especially here in Utah, is that when we go in to create a development, which, you know, again, we develop all of our own projects, the cities are usually requiring a certain amount of open space, and they're also requiring the builder to maintain sometimes part of the park strips, that are out in the public ways. And so that can be really crazy. In fact, here we are out here on 4500 West, in this whole street right here. As you go down around, there's no home that would say call that have a parking strip, because all of our homes face the other direction. So that's an area that has to be maintained. Well, who's going to maintain it? An HOA, right? So usually there has to be some type of HOA for that purpose. Now, having said that, once we set up a community with an HOA, we're also trying to really make sure that we're maintaining the integrity, the sellability of that project as well. So our HOA, when we put our CCNRs together, which is your covenants, codes, and restrictions, when we put those together, we're really putting together things that we just feel like are still fairly flexible for people, but also they create an environment where your home is not necessarily going to be judged by the home across the street because it's in disrepair, right? Or you happen to have an auto mechanic that lives across the street with a lot of projects, right? We allow for project cars in our subdivisions. It's just they got to be behind the fence, not out in the front yard. So little things like that. Pets and those types of things in our communities anyway, we pretty much just defer to what the city guidelines are, with some exception, I will say, because sometimes if you get out in the rural communities, the pet policies can get a little
So I can't
broader.
have an emu.
Yeah.
But I can have my turtle.
You can
No
have a
llamas.
turtle. Yeah,
Watch out, they
exactly.
spit.
Yeah, we haven't, I think, I would say, don't be scared about an HOA, just get the CCNRs before you make your offer. Read through them, you have your agent guide you through those, ask the appropriate questions, and then see if you can find yourself there. Having said that, once we are done building a community, we turn the HOA over to the homeowners. So if you get crazy neighbors that want to change some things, then y'all have to vote on it to make it change, and that can happen. That's called democracy. But
It's
for
that
us,
tribe. Make sure you're the right tribe.
make sure you found
You're
your
the right
tribe.
tribe.
Yeah.
All
Well,
the right.
I think a really great, as we continue to see ADUs and different things like that, accessory dwelling units become more and more popular. I think that there's language in different CCNRs for that, so you want to look at that and then compare it to what your city requirements are. And again, it's probably the biggest expense you're ever going to have in your life, so you definitely want to make sure that you're making the right choice.
And I'm just going to throw in there with the CCNRs, so everybody knows this. As an agent, we provide the buyers with the CCNRs. It is the buyer's responsibility to read those CCNRs and understand those CCNRs. We read through them, but you have to understand them, and if you have any questions, ask those questions before you decide to purchase, because afterwards it's not fun. So Amber, thank you so much for your time again.
Yeah,
Thank you. We'll see you again on HGA's Tuesday Tips. Have a good one.
See ya.